A rhetorical analysis of Jeremy Lin's chapter An American Like Me. About the author. Born August 23, 1988, Jeremy Shu-Hao Lin is a Taiwanese-American professional basketball player who currently plays for the Beijing Ducks of the Chinese Basketball Association. He attended Harvard University and is most known for his tenure with the New York Knicks, when he was known as Linsanity. Main argument of the text. Overcoming adversity and racial stereotypes. How does Lin construct his argument? Through personal anecdotes as evidence and the ethos and pathos appeal. Past. Purpose. Lin provides details of his early childhood, difficulties he experienced being different from those around him, a chip on his shoulder, motivating the reader to continue doing whatever it is they love, no matter what others believe. Audience. Everyone who's ever been told they weren't good enough. Speaker. Since Lin entered the league, defying all odds, he now has the credibility to discuss the topic over a widespread audience. Situation. Jeremy discusses his life story, experiences ranging from childhood to college and the NBA. First and second paragraphs. Strategy. Jeremy begins his chapter with a personal anecdote, first time meeting his friend. Quote, the population was predominantly white, so before Steven showed up, our basketball team had been a bunch of white kids and me. Effect. By starting with an important moment in his life, and grabs the reader's attention. Supplies and details. Diction. Lin sets a positive tone with the statements, I was no longer alone, we killed it on the court, and we destroyed everyone else. Additionally, a shorter sentence is utilized in order to bring attention to itself. I spent my entire childhood trying to get taller. Third and fifth paragraphs. Another personal anecdote is employed, the struggle to pay expenses. In my house, we only paid for cable TV during the few weeks of the NBA playoffs to watch Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. But we didn't have a lot of extra money for cable after they paid for our basketball gear, all the food I ate trying to get taller, and piano lessons. Lin establishes credibility with personal experience. Jeremy describes his financial difficulties, only capable of paying for cable TV on select weeks due to the high cost of basketball equipment and piano lessons. However, Jeremy was grateful for what he had. He knew his parents were giving their all, and an understanding tone is established. Having a loving and caring emotional support system, pathos, Lin was given the opportunity to showcase his skills, express his passion and love for the game of basketball. 6th through 9th paragraphs. Lin has come a long way since he first started playing. The ability to pick up a basketball and start shooting is natural. The skill is practiced over and over again. We're given an inside view on the early struggles. I had a chip on my shoulder from day one. Being placed in an unexpected scenario where you're uncomfortable could cause you to freeze and lose yourself. A scenario in which the audience can most definitely relate. But when people look at an Asian kid, they don't see basketball players. At public pickup games, I always struggled to gain respect from other players, or even get a spot on the floor to play. Coaches assumed I would be a second-string bench warmer. But I've watched guys on opposing teams argue over who had to guard me, because they thought it'd be an easy one. The term chip on my shoulder is figurative, because of perception that one has been treated unfairly in the past, one develops an angry or nasty attitude or behavior. I was still the only Asian kid, and sometimes Steven was on the team too, but to all my friends and coaches saw that I brought and led me to do my thing. Quote, I worried less about what everyone thought and really started to have fun. It's amazing how much better you can play when you're not thinking about everyone else. Then created a mentality where he felt that he can succeed in his own way, and he did. 10 through 14 paragraphs. Jimmy once again brings up the fact that he's the only child of Taiwanese descent on any of the teams he played for. The two teams were different, but they had one thing in common. They both just had one Asian kid. This lets the audience understand the difficulties one could undertake during the growing phase of their life. Lin continued to place a large emphasis, diction, on the fact that he's only the only Asian American player on the team, everywhere he's been. Because of this, the tone, syntax, created as one of sympathy. We as the reader have to understand not everyone was treated fairly, and those of different cultures can associate similar emotion. I convinced myself I didn't fit in, and it showed. 15th through 18th paragraphs. Lin grabs the reader's attention with a personal anecdote, how he was viewed by others. As high school approached, I got a lot of digs from other teams. People still saw the short Asian kid and expected I wouldn't give them any competition. I got yelled at by people in the crowd or other kids on the sideline who would still tell me I was an import from China, even though I had only ever known a life in the United States. These comments re-emphasized to me that I was different from everyone else and made me feel like I didn't belong. The feeling of sympathy is created over again. Lin began by using longer, more emotional sentences. Syntax. The purpose of this is to express the urgency he felt to grow. Jeremy felt as if he wasn't good enough. He needed to be taller. Many of those around us today can greatly correlate, more specifically, body dysmorphia, a serious issue. Just before high school started, I focusing on other major objective, getting taller. I made this a goal, as if it were actually within my control. I knew the odds were stacked against me, but I was determined. I had to play high school ball, and it wasn't going to happen if I remained this short. So I prayed, and I ate, and I ate some more. I used to drink more milk than you want to know about, because I thought it would make me taller. I already ate more than anyone else in my family. My mom says when I was really young and we used to eat lunch at church, I would finish eating my food first and then start staring at other people's plates until they felt bad and offered me more. Luckily, people were very nice to me. My mom was mortified. 19th to 23rd paragraphs. Then recalls the pleasurable experience he endured during this time with the travel team. Family just isn't blood, it's those we go to war with. The audience can understand there will always be a light at the end of every tunnel. Nothing is ever set in stone. Everyone possesses the ability to overcome hardship. By the time I was doing whatever it took me to show my parents, I was serious. I kept my grades up, and my mom, Shirley, became one of the most involved basketball parents anyone had ever seen. She traveled with my team to all over tournaments and kept an eye on all the teammates. All the guys on my team shared this kind of bond that you share with teammates, but our lives off the court were very different. The white kids mostly lived in insanely huge houses. Meanwhile, most of the black teammates lived in East Palo Alto, which at the time had the highest crime rate per capita in the entire country. When the team was together, we were all pretty tight. But when we weren't hanging out before or after games and practices, all the white guys hung out with all their white friends, all the black guys hung out with all their black friends, and I hung out with my Asian friends. This once again shows the racial differences in society, currently and at the time. The purpose of including quotes, syntax, allows for the use of exact language. The viewers are given a legitimate representation of the events that have occurred. One time, this dad told us he was taking us to the old spaghetti factory. I was bummed out because I didn't really like spaghetti. My teammates teased me. No, stupid. They have other things on the menu. But I don't even remember what I ordered. I ended up ordering for my entree because I was so excited about getting a strawberry lemonade. Jeremy, up to that point, never had the opportunity to attend a high-class restaurant. Experiencing new things is something people worldwide enjoy. 24th paragraph. Jeremy has established his credibility. He's fully defined his long, hard-fought journey from beginning to end, full circle. Now, so many years later, I still think about expectations a lot. Even though my college basketball career, no one expected me to become the NBA player I am today. The audience would have developed a feeling of optimism. Anything is possible if you work hard enough. Lynn utilizes imagery, syntax, when detailing his experience parking next to other players' vehicles. When I first showed up to play with the Golden State Warriors, I rolled up in my old Toyota Camry and parked it next to all the other players' Mercedes and Porsches. My ride totally surprised everyone that day. It's not the only thing about me that has defined expectations, and I'm pretty cool with that. Even going as far as to say he was ID'd entering his own workplace. The first time I got to play in Madison Square Garden with the Knicks, the security guard asked me for ID. They thought I was one of the trainers. Conclusion. The purpose of Jeremy Lin's chapter in American Like Me is to demonstrate the hardship one would have to overcome in order to succeed. A very relatable scenario for kids who've grown up in poverty. An overarching message to chase your dreams. All these people, all these things came into my life, and they're all blessings from God. And now that I look back, I realize that these are His fingerprints all over my story. The end. Thank you.